On February 13th, 1997, a container filled with 4.8 million Lego pieces falls into the sea. The cargo ship Tokyo Express was on its way to New York City from Rotterdam. When it was about 20 miles off the coast of Cornwall, England, it was struck by a 28-foot wave. The ship tipped and lost 62 containers. One was filled with Lego pieces. Ironically, many of the plastic pieces were ocean-themed, including scuba gear, pirate swords, and whales. It has become known as the Great Lego Spill and is the worst toy-related environmental disaster in history. Other items swept into the sea included disposable lighters, superglue, and other hazardous chemicals. Locals, tourists, and Lego fanatics have been finding pieces on Cornish beaches ever since. Collectors especially prize rare pieces like octopuses and green dragons. The Great Lego Spill has inspired social media pages. It has even inspired a book. Interestingly, the incident has also helped scientists gain insight into what happens to plastic in the ocean, including how far it drifts and how it breaks down. They estimate it will take 1,300 years for the Great Lego Spill's pieces to fully degrade. The name Lego is actually a contraction of two Danish words that mean play well. The Lego company was founded on Denmark's Jutland Peninsula in 1932 by Ole Kirk Christensen. The company has since passed from generation to generation and is still owned today by the same family. To begin with, the Lego company made wooden toys. After a fire, the company shifted its focus to plastic toys and began manufacturing its signature plastic bricks in 1947. I loved Legos as a kid. The pirate sets were some of my favorites. My first major set was a yellow castle in the early 1980s. A few years later, I got another castle, this time gray. I remember being overly excited when the Lego Happy Meals at McDonald's were available. You did, however, have the ones that had the eye on the side of them. Those were just creepy. Ultimately, I mostly enjoyed making my own creations, like spaceships and forts, more than following the instructions and building the sets as prescribed. Or maybe it's just that the pieces got mixed up and some lost, making it impossible to build the sets properly after a while. My son, who was born in 2000, was obsessed with Lego Star Wars sets. And I can tell you, there's no experience quite like stepping on a Lego brick on your child's bedroom floor. It's life-altering. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1633, Galileo arrives in Rome to face charges of heresy for advocating Copernicus's theory. In 1689, during the Glorious Revolution, William and Mary are proclaimed joint monarchs of Britain. In 1920, Rube Foster organizes the National Negro League, the first successful league for black players. Also in 1920, the League of Nations recognizes the perpetual neutrality of Switzerland. In 1965, U.S. President Johnson approves Operation Rolling Thunder, the sustained bombing of North Vietnam. In 2000, the last Peanuts comic appears in the newspaper, one day after creator Charles Schulz's death. In 2021, former U.S. President Donald Trump is acquitted in his second impeachment trial. And now, it's time for our Today in History quiz. Saint Valentine, the man who is celebrated each year on February 14th, lived during which century? The 3rd century, the 6th century, the 9th century, or the 12th century? Think you know the answer? Drop your guesses in the comments below. Find out if you're right tomorrow on Today in History.